And we're back with ckscast number 17. 17, we're a little bit late today. I did actually record this once already, and it went horribly wrong for technical reasons. I still haven't figured out because I don't put any effort into figuring out. So today, we're going to talk about a little topic about saving the planet. Because in Switzerland, saving the planet is something that people believe in. It's a very important topic, and one of the things that you encounter when you live here looks like this. This is the bottle recycling situation in Zurich, and there you can see you have these three little receptacles. One says, the one on the left here says brown, the one in the middle says white, the one on the right says green. And the idea is that you show up here with your bottles and you put them in the right holes, and this is saving the planet. And you come here, you think, okay, we've got to obey the rules. You do this, and there's also additional rules that you're not allowed to do this past, I think, 7 or 8 p.m. on a weekday. Sundays are not allowed. You cannot be recycling your bottles. So you have very nice short time frames in which you can do bottle recycling, and when you bottle recycle, plus also if we go over here, that's the aluminium section. So look, it's visual effects today. Check that out. Yeah, and it's a funny thing. It's like, and people just do it all the time. People show up with their kids and they put their bottles in there. I make comedy about this. I've been doing it for a while. And it's one of these weird things of like, what is this actually doing for the planet? So each color goes in it, and by separating the bottles, that makes them more recyclable. Guys, we have satellites in space that can tell me if I've got skin cancer on my head. Do you think we don't have the technology in Switzerland, one of the most advanced countries in the world, to be able to recognize the color of a bottle and sort it automatically for us? Do you think that's not... And so, what is the role that this bottle recycling plays? Well, one thing is that, your family, it's a family event. You go out to the bottle recycling, you give your kids the bottles, and you go, hey, kids, it's teaching you to save the planet. Except it's not really. It's just teaching your kids about your alcohol problems. It's like, mommy and daddy drink way too much alcohol. And the bits I like to do, like this 6-pack of your dad doesn't help me enough. That goes in brown. And, and you see the kids doing that, and it's a whole thing, and everyone diligently does it. And I think it's actually one of these things it's much more an aspect of, I wouldn't say social control, because that's not really exactly the Swiss way. It's more the fact that it gives everybody here this feeling of like, we're doing something, like... And that's why it doesn't change. Actually, not all the cities in Switzerland do this, but in Zurich they do, in the German-speaking parts. And I think it just goes into this kind of this idea of having things to be correct. And by spending precious time sorting your bottles, that is somehow, you've done your job. And then you also, you got to pack your cardboard. That's another thing, with string, with recyclable string. And, I remember once my son actually put cardboard out on the wrong day, which led to us getting a 300 franc fine. And I actually saw, must have been reported by some neighbors who were walking past, and I was on my balcony and I saw them looking at this cardboard and taking notes. And, of course, because some of this cardboard had my address on it, they located me. The recycling police tracked me down. They said there's a lawbreaker. He's putting cardboard out on the wrong day. Yeah. And I mean, in general, I like the principle of this, is that we all have a role to play in the order of things. And it's not all like me, and just toss your stuff out anytime you like. But the bottle recycling thing, I think it's past the point where it made any sense. Maybe it made some sense back in the 60s. I don't know when this stuff was invented, but now it's much more about just something that makes us feel like we're doing our part. So it's kind of like it's all these things that they used to do in England during the Second World War. Like there was also like you collected tins and pots for the war effort. So everyone was giving up their kitchen utensils to help make bullets and planes. And actually none of that stuff was ever used, really. It just ended up in giant piles. But it was one of these things that gave people the feeling that they were contributing to society. And so, it's a funny one. It's and let me just drink some water. I'm kind of chilled out today. I'm heading up for a holiday in about a week. I need some time off to recharge the batteries. Been a bit flat energy recently. Plus in Zurich, it's just gray days, endless gray days at the moment. Spring is coming, but right now it's just endless, like just this gray cloud. No rain, no wind, just gray. And yeah, actually I was on a train back from Basel to Zurich yesterday, and it's really there's this particular point as you approach Olten on that railway track where there's just this cloud, and you suddenly realize, like, is Zurich Mordor, perhaps? Because, in Lord of the Rings in Mordor, there's always this black cloud over Mordor. Maybe Zurich is Mordor. I don't know. That could be a possibility. The other funny thing about here, and this has gone everywhere, is, we don't like dog shit anymore. And, like, the other day I was, like, taking a little walk in my hood. And, there's like some tree line that I walk along. There's a path. And I'm coming up this little hill. And there's this old man. I don't know, he's probably 70 or something. Further up the path, I see him bending over. And he, clearly his back is not as flexible as it used to be. So he's having a bit of a struggle there. And he's clearly picking shit up off the ground. And he's really working on it. And then he's wiping the ground and doing stuff. And as I approach and I get there, and then he starts walking, he's a little bit ahead of me. There's no dog. This guy is just picking up shit, and he's got no dog. I mean, maybe his dog actually went out and did it before, but yeah, no. I mean, the whole dog shit business is a funny one. Because back when I was a kid, at least in England, dogs could shit anywhere they want. It just was everywhere. And the interesting thing was actually, my grandmother had a dog, a male dog, and she used to tell me that it's basically the problem dogs are the female dogs because they will shit anywhere. Male dogs, for some reason, have this sense of shame, and they would shit in a corner or shit somewhere where it could be hidden. Maybe it's more of some territorial thing that the male dogs don't want to be detected. Whereas the female dogs is like nothing is more arousing to a male dog than a giant steaming pile of turd. As you're walking along, you go, this lady be hot. But anyway, shit was everywhere. And, that was just part of the game. We used to go and play football in this park on the grass. And, every now and again, someone would just wipe out because they stepped in some dog shit. And then, you go over and have a look, and their trainers were covered in shit, and then you'd hand them a tiny stick to try and scrape the shit off, and then they'd go home and walk that shit into the carpet, and their mum would freak out, and it'd be a whole thing. It brought people together. As young boys, we'd have a good laugh when anyone stepped in dog shit. There was also the special feeling you get when you step in dog shit, and you feel that slight slippiness as your foot touches the ground, and just like, oh God, I've stepped in shit. People don't have that experience anymore. I think that's an important experience. And it's like, at what point did we just get so offended by dog shit? It's shit. It's biodegradable. Who cares? But okay, we have a problem with it. And we're especially into these things. Like, you see dog owners collecting their dog shit. I mean, this makes me want to not ever have a dog, because you get these little plastic bags. Look, there's a little dog on there. Look, you can use it as like a sock puppet. Hello, I'm Mr. Dog Shit. And like, I like dogs. And, and I like dogs because they fill me with things that I like. And I mean, the interesting irony of this is in in an environment where we're so conscious of protecting the environment, why are we putting biodegradable dog shit in plastic bags? It's like millions of years from now, humanity is gone, everything, and aliens land here, alien archaeologists, and all they find is like bags of this with degraded dog shit in them. They're clearly going to think that dogs were the masters of everything. It's like, people say, I own my dog. Do you really? Like, I'm pretty sure that if I take a shit on the ground and you pick it up and put it in a bag, I own you. Like, I'm sure that's kind of the case. And so we're obsessively doing this because they keep the dog shit everywhere. And then we're putting it in plastic bags and throwing that in some landfill or probably burning it. And I mean, does anything make any sense? Like, do we ever think through anything? We just like that little, like I've done things right. But can you imagine as a dog owner, like just going around and picking up your dog shit and the feel, like with this, you can feel it through, oops, I just moved the logo. You can feel that warm turd through the plastic as you pick it up. And what if your dog has chronic diarrhea, which seemed to be the case because this old man, he was just like wiping up the shit and there was just these patches of brown left on the path. And I was like, is that, does that really make us a better species that we pick up the dog shit, that we have... we're so checked out from everything that the mere sight of dog shit is it's a scandal. It's ruining the environment. I don't know. I really don't know. But I tried doing some comedy about this kind of stuff last week. It went quite well. Just about the sheer ridiculousness of these little plastic bags that were just like a giant berg of turd that's filling up in some landfill somewhere. And, I think it's just something to bear in mind while we're freaking out about the environment, where the environment is, it's like, yeah, well, how about then we just, accept the fact that dog shit and that stuff is biodegradable. We could take shovels and just fling it at your neighbors, fling it across a wall, all these fun. I mean, I remember as kids, that was like a favorite game. It was like someone would get a stick, stick it in some dog shit, and then we'd chase each other around and go, and that was fun. Get the shit away from me. And the smell, like it's a unique experience. It's like, why are we trying to eliminate everything that makes us have the basics? I mean, yeah. Anyway, what about the horses? I don't know, like, do horses have to obey the rules? I'm pretty sure I've seen horse shit lying around, but not dog shit. And you ever seen a dog, like, shitting in a field and its owner is there? And the look, can you imagine what it must feel like for the dog? That, you have to take a shit in a public place with everyone looking at you. And then after you take a shit, the person that you love most in the world gets a plastic bag and picks your shit up. How much shame do you carry as a dog that you have to do that to the person that you care about the most? It's all messed up, people. It's like, let dogs shit where they want to. And actually, let's let dogs be dogs. I remember one time, this is kind of a funny story. Long ago, I used to do French kickboxing, and I had this tournament coming up in France. And I was sort of training for it, and I went to visit a friend in Crete while I was training. And, I was trying to get fit, running and doing cardio and stuff. I wasn't working that hard on it. But then one day there's this quay that would go out into the harbor in Heraklion in Crete. And I walked out along this, and you get some fishermen there. I think it was in the evening. And on the way, I walked past this dog. It had this long, pointy nose. And this dog looked at me, and I looked at this dog. And the malicious intelligence in this dog's eyes, I was like, something's up with that dog. I can walk out to the end of the quay I run down there, And running in Crete, I mean, Greek people are not sport fanatics, so I was the only person doing any exercise there. I got to the end of the key, and then I'm like, that's my goal, and then I come running back again. And on the way running back, while I'm jogging, I pass this dog that's coming towards me. And I stop, and it stops. And then it's kind of like trying to approach me, and I'm like, yeah! And it backs off a bit, and I get round it. And I start running again fast. I look back, and this dog is following me again. And it's not running fast. It's just got this slow pace. And I'm like, shit, I'm outrunning it right now. But this dog, its jog is faster than my jog. So this dog is just playing. So I'm not even going to chase this guy. I'm just going to let him run his energy down. So, because you get they're basically like stray dogs in Crete. And I start walking that. And then gradually, like more and more dogs start following me. And then I'm walking through the town, and I've got like 20 dogs following me. And I feel like I'm somehow Jesus with all these dogs following me. I don't know what it was about me at that point, but all these dogs just got curious in me. Maybe because I was clearly an outsider and didn't belong. They're like, what is this weird human doing here? And I remember my friend meeting me, and like I have this group of dogs behind me. And it's like, what the hell is going on there? So, you know, like stray dogs are definitely, they're on a different plane to these dogs we keep at home where, you know, apparently in America you have depressed dogs. Dogs pick up whatever their owners are feeling. So, you know, it's a funny thing about people's, dogs start to look like people look like their dogs physically. And I wonder how that effect is. I don't know. Anyway, it's been a podcast about dog shit. We got Mr. Poop back. Hello, children, please put some shit in me. I should do a thing about this. And bottle recycling. That's been today's message has been brought to you by dog shit and bottle recycling, which is mostly completely pointless. Why don't we just have one hole? Why are these holes strangely erotic as well? I don't know. But, all right, that's been ckscast number 17. Kind of chilled. I'm a bit mellow today, but, you know, that's good.